We're talking my entire pickups for the month of January. So this is all the 4Ks, Blu-rays, DVDs, steelbooks, limited editions, box sets, boutiques, you name it. I'm going to show it off to you all right now. Say a little bit about each film as I go through them. Of course, if you love collecting physical media just like me and talking movies is the best part of your day, you're in the right spot. Your family on this channel. Go ahead and mega smash that like and subscribe. That way you stay entertained and up to date on all this movie goodness all year long. And of course, join me in the comments below discussing what were some of your favorite pickups from the month of January. But let's get right into this pile because this is the juicy pile today. So we got, of course, Rain Man. Yes, Rain Man is my first time going to be watching this one. I haven't even opened this one up yet, but I heard great things about it. It's an Academy Award winning movie. It won 4 Academy Awards, including Best Picture. One of my movie goals to watch all Best Pictures out there. I'm super excited to test this one out. We got the star power of Dustin Hoffman and, of course, Tom Cruise. So I'm really, really excited to check this one out. I've seen some clips from the movie. It looks really good, really powerful, some entertaining stuff in there and dramatic moments. So I'm ready for this one. Should I bring the tissues along? Is it going to be tears here with this one? I hear it could get a little sad. So this is going to be an awesome first time watching. Guess what? I got this one for like $15.99 at Best Buy. Check your local Best Buy, see if they still have it at a discount. But that was amazing because on Amazon it was like 35 bucks. Okay, next up we gotta have a DVD. I haven't picked up one of these in a little while, but this is Death Sentence. Now, reason why I had to pick this up, I'm doing a James Wan filmography stream in the future. Yes, the director of Saw. I have to see all his directed films to rank all of them, of course. I've never seen Death Sentence. I tried looking for it out there. There wasn't a Blu-ray or anything like that. How does a newer movie like this not have a Blu-ray? That's just unfortunate. So I had to like overpay for a DVD. But anyway, we got, of course, Kevin Bacon in here. The bacon getting it nice and steamy in there. But this is like a revenge Punisher type of story. But the twist in here is it's not your typical Hollywood revenge story. Not everything works out in the best way for anyone in here. So that was kind of throwing me off a little bit. I'm like, oh, this is a nice little twist here. But it's filmed really well, really good camera angles in there. So I would recommend check out Death Sentence if you have not yet done so. It's an easy watch as well. All right. Next up, we gotta have Stage Fright. Yes, an Alfred Hitchcock title. This is Archive Collection WB. I picked this one up because it's another goal of mine to watch more Hitchcock films. And I've seen all the modern ones. I had to dive back to the classics a little bit, and we picked up Stage Fright. Now, this one was just okay to me. You know, it's not that Rear Window level. It's not The Birds. It's not Psycho. It's old school, very old school Hitchcock, and it was okay. I think I need to rewatch this one just to really formulate a final opinion on it, but it's not an absolute must watch for Hitchcock, in my opinion. Like, this isn't where I would start if you're just getting into Hitchcock. I'd still recommend Rear Window. All right, next up, we got to have Air, yes, such an awesome movie. Sad this didn't get any Oscar love this year, unfortunately, because this is a really well-directed film by Ben Affleck, and he acts in the movie as well. But this is great acting talent here. I mean, come on, look at this. We got Chris Tucker, Viola Davis, just so many amazing, talented actors in here. You can't do better. Matt Damien is in here, giving an amazing performance. But I really like the movie Air. It's all based on the business shoe deal of Air Jordans, how that all came about, that shoe product line. And you think it might be a little boring because it's about business discussions, but the performances are so powerful in here and they do such a great job of creating an intrigue that the time flies by. I love this movie. I loved it in theaters. I love the rewatch. I'm going to rewatch it a whole bunch of times. I got it for like under 10 bucks on Amazon. No brainer. Still came with the Slippy too. Can't do better than that. All right. Next up, we're going to have the Ghoulies. Yes, look at the little Ghoulies, so creepy there. But yes, this has been a long time since I watched Ghoulies, so it was like rewatching it for the first time. And I got this MVD 4K collection one. Oh my gosh, at a great price. I think it was what, under 16 bucks or something. It was wild. It was so wild. These prices are so great at Best Buy. But yeah, Ghoulies, it was what it was, a cheesy kind of B-level horror movie, kind of cult classic status. It was cool to see the different weird looking ghoulies in there. I forgot how they all looked like. And yeah, there's some fantasy elements in there, of course. Is it on the level of Gremlins? No. Is it on the level of Critters? Still no. It is something else. But hey, for the price, if you love horror, it might be worth it just for, a different kind of creature feature, I guess. All right. Next up, we got to have Barbarella. Yes, this was a complete blind buy. This is a nice thick Arrow edition, really cool looking box. They get a lot of nice stuff in there. I think what you get like a book or a poster in there. I mean, you get some wild stuff in these nice Arrow thick limited edition box sets. So really cool cover. This kind of caught my interest because it's classic sci-fi. I'm like, is this going to be on the level of Flash Gordon? Because I love Flash Gordon. It's a guilty pleasure for some, nothing guilty about it for me. I love some Flash Gordon movies. And so I'm like, Barbarella, maybe this is the female version of Flash Gordon, right? That was my assumption. Not so much, not so much. On the execution of this one, it's rough. It's rough. It's a tough watch. It gets a little boring in there. I think this one came out in the 60s. So is it really any value to see this one? Like I said, very cheesy, kind of it looks kind of low budget, but I don't know if it's high budget for the time. There's sci-fi fantasy elements, but it's so old school and just they just don't take it to the next level. The story's kind of all over the place. It doesn't capture my attention. I mean, you're really only going to see this movie if you want to see Jane Fonda, floating through the air. Yeah, you want to see that? There you go. You got Barbarella. So yeah, definitely pick this up at a sale price if you're going to chance it, but be very cautious on the chance too. Not going to be for everyone. All right, speaking of a movie that's not going to be for everyone, we got to have Christmas, Bloody Christmas. I picked this one at Best Buy because it was like under what, $6 or something. And yeah, I still overpaid for this one. Gosh, this movie is pretty bad. It's a Shutter original. It's a slasher that takes place around, Christmas, of course, but so low budget, so just cheesy and oh my god, another rough watch, and the first 30 minutes feels like 3 hours, so slow paced. Now, once the crazy robot Santa starts going after people, it does become a little bit more entertaining. I don't know, it's like a grindhouse type of feel. But I don't know, it just yeah, it's like that Terrifier level sort, but not Terrifier quality. I don't know. It's just I can't really recommend this one to most people. Just yeah, I mean, if you absolutely need to see every slasher out there, and that's like your one watching franchise of genre out there, I can't even speak anymore, people. That's okay. But yeah, if you're a big slasher fan, maybe chance it at a few dollars. But other than that, yeah, we don't really need this one. I mean, it had the Slippy on it, but yeah, I could have skipped over it. All right, next up. Oh, speaking of slashers, we got The Blackening, and this was a pretty cheap 4K steelbook as well. Lionsgate did a nice job on this one, discounted at Best Buy, of course, and I think this one is pretty decent. So if you do want to see a slasher, this is way better than Christmas Bloody Christmas. I will say that. Now, is this perfect? Is this great? Does this revolutionize slashers out there? No, I don't think so. I kind of put it in the mid range, but still enjoyable. Of course, there's a lot of social commentary in there. And I do like the special features they included. That was well done. The special features were kind of fun and entertaining. So, for that, if you get this at the right price and you're a slasher fan, I would recommend more so this one than the Christmas Bloody Christmas. All right. Next up, we're gonna have another Arrow limited edition release, or at least they're calling it that, with the Warriors. They came out to play at my house, and yeah, this is such a cool looking cover right here. The subway window. Oh wow, very very cool. Nice thick box set, very nice. Yeah, it's like a slippy box too. So yes, if you're a big the Warriors fan, you gotta get this edition. There's so many special features in here. I didn't even get through them all because there's a ton there. Now, it was my first time watching this movie, and I thought it was pretty solid. I didn't love it because I don't have the nostalgia with it. I didn't hate it though. Once again, I'm like, okay, you know what? I'm happy, content. I watched that. Once again, not blown away. Some people that grew up with this one absolutely love it. I wasn't on that level, but I did like kind of seeing, the costume designs, the different gangs. That was kind of fun and interesting. And I like kind of the story premise. It's like this gang becomes public enemy number one, and all these other gangs are after them. So that was kind of interesting. So I don't know. Maybe I got to rewatch it. But it's decent. Did way better than Barbarella. I'll give it that. Way better than Barbarella. Pick this one up instead. All right. Next up, we gotta have Swamp Thing. Yes, Swamp Thing. This MVD Laserdisc collection, like the Ghoulies one, was discounted as well. Got it super cheap. And you know what? I like Thing. All right, Swamp Thing is awesome. This is a Wes Craven directed title. If you did not know that, there's some cool action stuff in there, some stunt stuff for someone to catch on fire. Like, there's some decent filmmaking things in here. You can kind of see Wes Craven's flavor there. The problem is it was so low budget, they did not give him much to work with, and you can see that shines through on some of the costumes in there, like the villain design. You're like, oh my god, that's so cheesy. If they had more money, this could have been great. But it is dumb fun. I still like the Swamp Thing character. I like his powers. And so I thought this one was decent. If you're a big superhero fan, I would say check this one out. Just don't go in with super high expectations, and get it at a good price. But the special features were great. Some new interviews on there I had a lot of fun with. So I like what MVD is doing with this collection here. So yeah, that can be fun. All right, next up, a movie that's not fun, I would not classify this one as fun, is going to be Natural Born Killers. I was able to get this steelbook discounted. Now, you do have an all-star cast in here. You got Robert Downey Jr. in here, Woody Harrison, and many more. I mean, Tommy Lee Jones. So the performances are here, but I'm going to cautious people on this one. This one is weird. This one is so trippy. It might give you a headache sometimes. It's just how it's filmed and edited together is so bizarre. I'm like, what the heck am I watching here? So the first half is a little tough to get through, especially going in with not knowing what to expect. I will say the second half, I was getting more into it as they're trying to break out of the prison. I thought that was kind of cool. So yeah, that became a little bit more interesting in the second half. But just know you're getting into some bizarre stuff in here with this one. But get it for a good price. All right, next up, we got to have Scream 6, right? Scream 6, one of my favorite horror movies of this year. I really like this one, of course. I think it's probably my fourth favorite, maybe. Right behind like Scream 2. I love Scream 1 and I love Scream 5. But Scream 6 is really cool. I like how they use the New York setting. I like it taking place around Halloween time. You get to see all the cool cameos and Easter egg references and all that fun stuff in there for fans. So I really like this one for the most part. Yeah, there's some issues in it. Yeah. I'm not a big fan of the Kirby character. Unfortunately, it just doesn't work for me. So yeah, but overall, still a delightful time if you're a Scream fan. I mean, this franchise is pretty consistent in terms of quality, so you know what to expect. All right, next up, we got another Arrow release with The Last House on the Left. Now, this movie, I really enjoy this one. It was a first time watch for me. And I will say, though, I'm going to cautious you on this one. There's some very graphic stuff in here. And there's one scene where I'm like, oh my gosh, they're going that direction with this. Ooh, it can be a very tough watch for some people out there. Oh my gosh, yeah. But in terms of the story, how it was put together, I really liked it. It's kind of a different twist on I don't know what you'd call it, not really slasher, home invasion. I don't know, but I do like this movie overall. I was pretty thrilled by it. It was definitely a very thrilling movie. Had me on the edge of my seat, and yeah, you definitely, yeah, you just got to check it out. If you're a horror fan, you got to check it out. But be cautious, people out there. If you're not a horror fan, may not be the movie for you. All right, next up, and that had great special features too. I mean, Arrow does a wonderful job. All right, next up, we got Naked Gun. The Naked Gun, and this is basically a spoof comedy, kind of, I get what would you call a spoof comedy of like cop movies and stuff like that. I thought this one was okay. If you like spoofs, you might get a kick out of it. If you're not into spoofs, you're probably not gonna like this one. I was kind of shocked that O.J. Simpson was in this movie. I'm like, I didn't know O.J. Simpson acted. That's kind of interesting. Now watching this after all the other stuff happening, so yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I can recommend this one to too many people out there. Just depends how big of a comedy fan you are, and if you like kind of the silly slapstick, Three Stooges type of comedy, then you might get a kick out of that one. All right, next up, we got to have Trading Places, and I really like Trading Places. This was a first time watch. Of course, you got Eddie Murphy and Dan Aykroyd in this one. It's kind of a holiday season movie, but I thought it was pretty funny. It had some good moments in there. I like the themes and messages. It's kind of an interesting story. And you got Jamie Lee Curtis. Jamie Lee Curtis was really good in this movie as well. And yeah, it's at a great price right now. So if you haven't seen Trading Places, I would pick this one up. This is definitely a higher recommendation for mostly everybody out there than some of these other ones in my pile. But yeah, I think this is a safe watch for most people, especially if you want a different kind of movie to watch during the holiday season. All right, and then last one here, we're gonna have another DVD. Yes, Mr. and Mrs. Smith. This is a classic one directed by Alfred Hitchcock. Now, I didn't really know what to expect on this one. Like I said, I'm trying to dive more into Hitchcock filmography, getting into some of his classic ones. And this one, like Stage Fright, was just okay for me. It's no Rear Window. It's like a screwball comedy, which Alfred Hitchcock isn't really known for that. He's known for thrillers, mystery, suspense movies. This is like the one like just straight up comedy he did. So I didn't know that going into it. I'm like, this is different than what I was expecting, a little romance in there, I guess you could say. So it was okay overall. I can't highly recommend it. um it is what it is. As simple as that. There you go. But yeah, those were all the titles I picked up in this month of January. You guys, once again, join me in the comments below. What did you pick up? What were some of your favorite titles? Did you like any of the ones I showed off? Would you recommend any of those ones? And let's have those fun conversations, of course. And of course, on the way out, don't forget, if you haven't already, blockbust that like and subscribe. That way you stay entertained and up to date on all this great physical media goodness. And of course, turn on that notification bell so you're posted when a new one comes out. And then, yeah, just have a great time talking the movies. And of course, if you love this topic, blockbust the next video right now. And thank you so much, my mega membership supporters.